Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. I'm excited to do a little bit of crafting with all of you tonight. And today this is actually a little bit of a part 2 from last week. Some of you might remember in my live last week that I was using this bundle of product from my March 2025 release, and there was a question in the chat that said, hey, can you use the background stamp with the stencils? And I said, I don't think so. I don't think they match. Turns out they do. And so I really wanted to try it. So we're going to do that tonight. So sorry to keep using the same product over and over, but I was just so intrigued by the idea of using both of these together. And I'm also really just loving ink blending through stencils right now. I'm in my stencil era, as the young kids would say, I guess. So I'm going to be using the Pretty Posies background stamp plus the Pretty Posies stencil. And I thought maybe I would do like a little bit of, I might do 2 backgrounds tonight. I might do one that has the stamp with it, and then I might do one that is just the stencil. So we'll see. We're going to try it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my stamped background ready. It's my favorite gold embossing powder. I think it's like not too yellow, but it's also not too almost like platinum, you know, like I want gold, you know? And I also think it matches the matte gold cardstock from SSS Stamp and Concord and Ninth really well. I think using metallic embossing powders is one of the easiest ones to use because you really can see when it changes colors and the powder is melted. Okay, so I'm using a grip mat. Because the stencils I'm using today are large, they're 6x9, I should be able to stick my background, you know, wherever I want on this, and then I can line up the stencils just over top. And then the stencil set has 5 stencils for all the flowers in the background. And it also has this one right here that you can use with the 4x6 stamp set. So you can do the individual flowers as well as the greetings in those larger areas. So I'm not going to be using this stencil today. I'm going to be using these 4, or 5, I should say. And I'm also making sure they're all lined up with the etched words in the bottom corner. Do you see that right there? You want the etched words. It has Christina Werner, and over here it says Pretty Posies in this bottom corner. Do you guys see that? There we go. So as long as all 5 stencils are with that orientation, you want the etching facing up, and you want that etched line at the bottom. Just keep that same orientation, and then you should be able to line up your stencils pretty well. Okay, so here's our first set of flowers. I'm going to get these as lined up, as much lined up as possible. Being that I used a clear background stamp, and you know, like I was saying, we were trying to prevent any warping. Sometimes that's just not possible to completely prevent that. So just to make it easy on myself, because I'm a perfectionist, I'm just going to like ink blend this flower. I'll lift the stencil and then move on and do these others that I couldn't get quite lined up. Here are the colors I'm using up here. Midnight is going to be the background. Sunflower for the center of the flowers. And then I have 4 colors for the flowers themselves. I'm using Dragonfruit, Fig, Juniper, and Clementine. I most definitely needed an ink stand, and I have really enjoyed using it since I got it. Okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on this flower right up here. I want to do like concentrated color on the edges and bring it in a little bit and leave that center more bright. I recently did a mailer envelope for my premium members here at YouTube using my Simple Flowers stencil set, and I loved how it turned out. And I kind of did an ink blending like this, and it was so fun. So I thought I would do something like that for this one today too. All right, like I said, it doesn't line up perfectly because of that clear stamp, so I'm going to lift this up, kind of slide it over to the next spot. In fact, I might kind of get both of these lined up about right for these down here. These two flowers look good like that, so I'm going to ink blend these two down here.
Clear the table, cut the grass, doing all I can of the necessary. Clean the attic, stay afloat, try as hard as I can not to fall off the boat. What can I do? What can I say? Hope that we find something new. Caught in the spin of the games that we play. Maybe we find something new. But we'll go on and make a scene, doing all we can, 'cause we're stuck in routine of sidestepping your blind eye. In my head in the sand, as we give it one more try. So what can I do? What can I say? Hope that we find something new. We're caught in the spin, the games that we play. Maybe we find something new.
All right, bring that in right there. I think I've got all the areas. And there we go. Ta-da! I only had a little bit of blue come in right there, which is unfortunate. Oh well. So I'm going to clean off my grip mat here. And then let's do one more of these, because I'm going to show you how you can use the stencils by themselves. Okay, so this is going to make a really easy card, you know, once I decide to, you know, put it together. I'm going to do another A2 card front. You could definitely do like a half sheet of letter and you could get two backgrounds out of it. But I'm just going to do one like this tonight. And I like it to do it this way because you can do there's a lot of stencil that will stick to the grip mat. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's start with the background this time. So let's get that centered. Da, 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 da. Okay, and what you're going to do when you have it like this on your grip mat or whatever work surface you're working on, you're going to take some tape or Post-it tape or something. You're going to make two little corners with tape up here because you're going to line up these stencils over and over again, and you're going to use these corners as a guide. So I've got my two corners, and that's going to help me line up this stencil over this whole set of stencils over and over, and that'll work. All right, and just to make it easier on us, I'm going to, I'm not going to do the centers in yellow this time. They're just going to be blue. So I'm starting with Midnight. I'm also switching to a larger brush so I can go over the area even faster.
gets me almost every time. In the midst of summer, watching it in full bloom always makes me wonder when we were just kids, bare feet on warm asphalt. We held our dreams within our hands. It happens every time, I wonder how. But I can see my life so clearly now. Dared ourselves away from home, further out each passing day. Gravel road towards the sea. I blink and I remember you, you and me, you and me. It happens every time, I wonder how. But I can see my life so clearly now. Miss you when I close my eyes. Yeah, I can see my life so clearly now.
Okay, that's kind of fun. I like that. So I was thinking, wouldn't this be fun with like some little white dots in the centers of the flowers with a white gel pen? Let's try it just over on the side here, because I could possibly cut it off. Oh, that's going to be cute. We're doing it. And because the C9 inks are, they like react with moisture, the white gel pen, I'm fully anticipating it will pull up some of that midnight ink color, and the dots might turn like a pale blue, which I'm totally okay with. Okay, I think I got all those centers. Lovely. Okay, so here are the two backgrounds. Really different looks, right? One has that gold embossing line from the stamp, and then this other one is just the stencil. Let's stamp some greetings to go on these cards. I thought I would use the encouraging words stamps and dies. I love all of these greetings, and I love the die cut greetings as well for like a secondary greeting if you want. So basically it has all of these. You've got the bigger stamped greetings, and then you have the smaller ones as well. This Hope Today is a Good Day is like the perfect size for a Portrait A2 card. So I know I definitely want to do that one. But I think the Brighter Days Are Coming would be great on a landscape card. And I'm going to use, you know what, let's use that same embossing and watermark ink. That worked great. But before I do that, I'm going to do my anti-static powder tool. This powder tool is putting out a lot of powder. It's showing up on this dark cardstock. I'm not worried about it because you can wipe off, like, I'd say 99% of all of that powder using a microfiber towel, which I'll use to clean things up. So I'm using Hero Arts Embossing and Watermark ink again. Just barely want to have this kiss down. I don't want the lines of the stamp to blob out. So I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure. Make sure I've got that. Oh, lovely. You know what? I need a little bit more pressure down here on the R. Perfect. Slides right off. I love using a powder tool that like puts out lots of powder. It's so great. Those are going to be great. Okay, I am loving this Gilded embossing powder on the blue. Isn't that just striking? I love it. Okay, I'm going to grab a microfiber cloth. I'm going to let this cool off for just a minute because I don't want to wipe over if it's still hot. Okay, I think we're good. So notice all the like powder all over it. Put a little elbow grease into it and you can start to take off all of the powder lines off the cardstock. I think it's just amazing. Sometimes you can also just use like the oils on your hand. It'll pick up the powder. But I think it's totally worth it for a better embossing result. Having so much powder on there. Thank you, Holly. Okay. Oh, yeah. The blue was a good move, y'all. I think it's going to look great on these backgrounds. I think I want a little bit of white showing on the card front. So let's cut these down just a little bit. I'm not afraid of a nice bold border. Yeah. Oh, that's going to look really nice. I like that. Okay, let's see if for this one, if that same like size will work. Yeah, I think the same size could work. We'll do the same size. Oh, my word. There must be some faint from the blue over here. It transferred to my flowers. That's okay. The grading is going to go over the top of most of that. But you guys see how it like some of the edge from that one must be on my plate. I've got to make sure I clean it off. But okay. Cards are opening like this. I'll just get that centered. Oh, almost the perfect amount of foam tape. Almost, just this one little bit left. Almost the perfect amount of foam tape. I love when I just randomly cut off the perfect amount of foam tape. It doesn't happen very often though. Okay, so these are pretty simple cards actually. So here are the two finished cards for tonight. Both of them were finished in under 90 minutes. Really quick and easy. I love using stencils like that. I think they turned out great. Once again, this was the Pretty Posies stencil set as well. And over here, it was the Pretty Posies background also. And then I used the Encouraging Words stamp and dies. So I'll have everything linked down below in the supply section if you want to check that out. And if you're looking for other stencil sets that are a little bit like this, check out my products over at the Concord and 9th website. I believe there's a way you can just look at stencils, and I've done probably 4 or 5 different stencil sets that layer like this. There's one that's, you know, leaves and berries for the holidays. There's one called Simple Flowers that has big overlapping flowers. That was, you know, I think that was the February release, or maybe January, I can't remember. But this is another one, and then don't you worry, more are on the way. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video very soon.